Good afternoon. It's Monday, April 14, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma. On the news this afternoon. AGF to defend President Tinubu on Rivers emergency. House of Representatives to inaugurate Committee on River State Oversight. Presidency says President Tinubu not in France to see doctor. Christian leaders plan protest over plateau killings. On the foreign scene, Hamas to free captives if end to Gaza war guaranteed. I'm Ifechukwu Moanyele with the news. Now, a report says the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has started drafting the response of President Bola Tinubu to the PDP's governor's suit challenging the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State. The report by the Punch newspapers also said the PDP governors have also engaged 11 senior advocates of Nigeria and 6 other attorneys to battle the federal government at the Supreme Court on what powers the president has to declare emergency rule in a state and suspend a democratically elected institution of the state. It said the sons hired by the governors include Bolaji Ayorinde Eyitayo Jegede, Kamaldeen Ajibade, J.A. Mumuni, Musibao Adetumbi, Samuel Atung, and Yunus Abdusalam. The others are Emes Atolawe, Ezenwa Ibebunam, Chiamaka Anago, Olakunle Lawal, Abdul Jalil Musa, and H.A. Adeleke. The PDP governors are also contesting the appointment of a sole administrator by the president to manage the affairs of Rivers State pending the duration of the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. President Bola Tinubu on 18th March declared a state of emergency in Rivers State and suspended Governor Fubara, his deputy Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly for an initial period of 6 months. The 11 states whose governors instituted the suit are Adamawa, Enugu, Oshu, Oyo, Bauchi, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, Delta, Taraba, Zamfara, and Bayelsa State. In the meantime, PDP governors converged in Ibadan, Oyo State for a 2-day meeting that began yesterday to brainstorm on some very serious issues affecting the party, including the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State and the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. It was gathered that the governors are to deliberate on their suit against the federal government at the Supreme Court, which is challenging the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. The National Publicity Secretary of PDP, Debo Ologunagba, confirms that the meeting of the Governors Forum will end today. This comes as former leader of Movement for the Emancipation of Niger Delta MEND, Government Memupolo, also known as Tompolo, has broken his silence almost a month after a state of emergency declaration in Rivers State and assured that Governor Fubara would return to his post. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives will on Tuesday inaugurate an ad hoc committee on Rivers State oversight in furtherance of its constitutional mandate and commitment to transparent governance. Spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Akin Rotimi, made this known in a statement. This follows the resolution of the National Assembly approving with amendment the proclamation by President Bola Tinubu declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State. One of the amendments was the designation of the National Assembly rather than the Federal Executive Council as the oversight authority for the regulations issued under the emergency arrangement, in line with Section 5 of the State Emergency Rivers State Proclamation 2025 and pursuant to Section 11 subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The House has constituted a dedicated ad hoc committee to monitor implementation and ensure that governance in the state remains within the bounds of constitutionalism and rule of law. And in another development, a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt has fixed 12 May for hearing in the substantive suit filed by a former National and State Assembly member, Dr. Farah Dagogo, against the suspension of Fubara and 8 House of Assembly members. To forestall difficulties in serving the defendant personally, the court granted an order for substituted services and fixed May 12, 2025 for hearing. A related development, PDP chieftain Lelonu Nwibasa has criticized the appointment made by sole administrator of Rivers State, Ibokete Ibas, describing them as widely perceived to be biased. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Choir, Wibubasa said the legitimacy of the sole administrator's owner is in question. He said that until the Supreme Court delivers a ruling on the matter, the administrator's actions cannot be considered fair.
The sole administrator himself is an illegality, standing obviously on thing. The Gazette of the federal that he proposed to the point to further tell me how any of his actions will be seen as fair, as equitable. If he appoints lawful, if politically, as important as the illegal.
President General of Grass Development Initiative who did the appointments, describing the appointment as individuals that describe the appointees, as individuals that understand policy.
By the trying to just the council they were elected. These people are people that are very short. In young people, you just bring the rich protest somebody want to go to the house of the those are people you use as chairman of council. They just to the mention, but you know that people are lecture in some federal.
The latest advocates Michelle Court Adbas and used as a visit Manhattan.
Critical collective prosperity. We are committed to an environment where dialogue will thrive. It is important to restate my impartial stand on the political crisis that has plagued our state. I remain committed to upholding the law and ensuring that individuals effective of the political affiliations have the future of the administration continue to focus on the active group of political advantage.
The sole administrator also used the state be actively involved in the processes policy meant by his administration towards of institution and achieving enduring peace.
My administration's focus on youth development is multifaceted approach. Education, providing our youth knowledge and skills needed to see happening for that made nomination. Providing companies ensuring that young people in Rivers State have access to job opportunities becomes hub leadership and innovation.
Modern aid as social medical elections, President Bola is not in front for medical. Speaking on Anna's last day to see Dr. But on this and his activities are being published. President Tinubu left Nigeria April for months on to work with the Oshai presidency, greeting talk of the SSO's view of on reforms and engage in strategic planning ahead of his administration's second anniversary. The president's on-Sunday dismissal of relations emerged from a U.S. court order directing the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) and the Drug Enforcement Administration to release files on President Bola Tinubu's past investigation. The president's Split on Information Strategy, Mr. Bonda, insisted that the records date back to a drug trafficking investigation in Chicago from the early 1990s have been publicly available for over 3 decades and posed no process for the president. He also summoned lawyers within the U.S. ruling by Washington with agencies conducted and process non-exempt document in response to Freedom of Information Act where American leader Greenhan. Coming up next, Christian leaders plan protest over plateau killings. Stay with us.
Nigeria Info.
Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Christian leaders and plateaus are planning for billings in the state. Early this morning, men will be killed over 30 villagers, Basanati. Last week, over 50 people were in attacks launched by gunmen. Various communities imitated Gideon plan abstinate. The president of the Labour Peter Road on a payroll plateau following the recent killings in the Boko area of the state. An statement will be pressed over this crime senseless, acceptable, not all. In development, Army has uncovered 11 bunkering facilities and main seizures in a 6 operating conducted by Sata and River 8. Called for the Nigerian Army 16 put than this event today that such restoration is said to 700 liters stolen oil, 4,890 liters of adulterated diesel, and 37,100 liters of specified petroleum product. On the raid is just raid the Inver, where they discovered 6 illegal refineries and recovered about 11 liters of petrol products. Away from that, some private car owners in Port Harcourt have acknowledged the benefit of installing track devices. However, in an interview with our correspondent, they admitted that despite the advantage of being able to recover a stolen vehicle through tracking, they are yet to install one. They are due to high cost relation and the fact that they have not really experienced theft.
It's very nice to put tracker on the vehicle. It helps if they snatch your car, you can be able to track the car. It's very good. I will soon my own buy the car.
Yeah, I don't have car tracker. Where I see the need to have car tracker. Maybe that's why I did not get car tracker. My other car was driving. It's very careful, but it's the one I'm presently driving. I'm not scared about my car not having car tracker.
The challenge is involved fixing it into the car. Everything increased, so it affects individuals. Everybody wants it in his car. Just this financial plan.
And now, Business Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCS, says it has restored bulk power supply through its 132 kilovolt Owerri Ahola transmission to National Grid. TN's General Manager, Public Affairs, Mrs. Imba, in a statement in Abuja today, said that the lines connected to the grid on 11th April to about Mbasset Andalation caused a force. She said with this restoration, the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution DC able to supply electricity to Bayelsa and parts of River State. In an event, operatives of the Kwara Police Command have arrested controversial singer Habib Kikiola Bamus, better known as Portable, or alleged defamation of Fuji star Suba. In a statement, the spokesman of the Kwara Police Command, Adeton Ejire Adeyemi, said the Portal's arrest followed the petition received from the Fuji star Osuba. Now in sports, Inter Miami are very interested in signing 33-year-old Belgian midfielder Kevin De Bruyne on a free transfer when he leaves Manchester City at the end of the season. Talks are, however, not believed to be advanced at this stage.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
A senior Hamas official, Tahar al-Nunu, says the Palestinian group is prepared to release all Israeli captives in exchange for a guarantee Israel will end the war in Gaza. However, of obstructing progress was the ceasefire. Hamas engaged, negotiated, and seized territory, devastated by 18 months of Israeli attacks. Israeli news website Wired reported today that a new proposal had been put to Hamas. Under the deal, the group will release 10 living captives in exchange for U.S. guarantees that Israel will enter negotiations for a second phase of this fire.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we guys have a look at the major stories. Yes, defend. AGF preparing to defend President Tinubu on Rivers emergency. The House of Representatives will inaugurate a tea on River State oversight on Tuesday. The presidency says President Tinubu is not in France to see a doctor. Christian leaders are planning a protest over plateau killings. On the foreign scene, Hamas says it will free captive if end to Gaza war is guaranteed. The news was edited by Matt Oke to reach the news team. Send an SMS or WhatsApp to 808-721-725. I'm Ifechukwu Moyel. Many thanks for listening.